and welcome to my channel. Um, I will kind of just be doing a chit chat today, kind of what's happened in December and kind of what my plans will be for the next couple of months. So, I had all these plans to go to New York for New Year's. And so, what ended up happening is I canceled that because of the Omicron variant. I had a couple of shows like the Rockettes canceled, and then I wanted to go to the Nutcracker, and that was canceled until it was supposed to be until December 27th or 28th, and I don't know if it was canceled permanently or not. So things were kind of closing down, and I was like, well, I was so disappointed that I really wanted to go to these, and then I wanted to go on a harbor cruise. I have seen the Statue of Liberty a long time ago. I walked up the stairs and to the Crown. This was before 9/11. So, I decided, okay, well, the Omicron, I thought, okay, well, I thought, then they reduced they scaled back for Times Square from 58,000 to 15,000 people. And then, well, I knew that there wasn't bathrooms in Times Square, but, and then you have to be there like, I don't know, 3 or whatever, and then they stop letting people in, right? But I thought you could move around or whatever and inside once you're in, but I guess you have to kind of stay in your quadrant, or else you have to, if you leave, then you have to get back in line or whatever. Um, so I meant that was kind of besides the point. I mean, I was going to go to, I did want to go to the Dallas barbecue. Um, they had there, where you can go at a certain time. Um, I think it started out, I don't know how much it was. But by the time that I was going to buy it, the ticket, it was going to be $200. And then, but I was going to go there as well. And I thought, okay, well, I didn't know about all this, you couldn't move around. And I thought, well, once I get into into the thing before 3, that I could just go get things to eat and just kind of walk around. So, so I didn't do that. I just felt like, because I was going by myself, and I thought, well, I'm gonna just be sitting at this barbecue, even though the barbecue looks good, and when I go to New York, I want to go there, the Dallas barbecue down there in Times Square. Um, but I just felt like, well, I'm going alone. I usually travel alone. I meant my friends are just not really, they're not really into the traveling. They are, but then they're not. Most of them aren't. They just don't want to, you know, um, whatever. I'm just kind of always been that kind of way, the adventurous. And then when I've tried to go with friends, I usually go to kind of the cheaper route. So there's always some kind of whatever. So anyway, so then I was like, okay, so I canceled it, and I didn't really want to do that, but I just felt like, well, that I mean, I am fully vaccinated, and my booster shot is going to be coming up within a month or two that I need to get. But I just felt like, okay, well, all the things that I wanted to do were being, closed. And so I just felt like, okay, well, so what I ended up doing is I ended up rescheduling. And then I'm also was going to go to Philly, because I have some ancestors on my mom's side that grew up in Philadelphia. And so I've never been to Philadelphia. And so I had all these things planned. I was going to go to the Liberty Bell, the Betsy Ross. They had some kind of gathering by some ice skating rink over there that like after like on New Year's Day that I was going to go. So anyway, so everything was canceled, and then I was going to go somewhere else. So what ended up happening was that my transportation was canceled. There was there was a road closure close to where I live. They had like a record amount of snow fall. And so, well, if it wasn't the flights canceling, it was the weather that would get you, right? It seemed to me. So that was a great disappointment because I was like planning for months, but what can you do? And so anyway, so I think that what I'm gonna end up doing, well, I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing, but I decided my New Year's resolution, which took a while. The first I was gonna do as many things as I can on my bucket list. And then I thought, okay, well, I don't know. I went through my bucket list, and I have it hanging up on my wall because it always gives me hope. And so then I thought, no, well, I don't know about that. And so what this year will be my mother's 20th anniversary of her passing in October. So what I'm going to do for my New Year's resolution, and I don't know if you can consider it a resolution, but is I'm going to get a tattoo, and so of an Irish rose, because my mom, she used to. We both have the Irish eyes, blue eyes, and she had this shirt, that had "I'm Irish" or whatever on it, and she would always wear that shirt. And so she did something and not felt pen, but those pens that colored pens that used to do in the 80s. And she did this one little thing she colored this rose. So I have that. And so I've been wanting to get this tattoo for a long time, and I couldn't decide. I do have one tattoo right now. And the thing is that I just wasn't for sure. I've been wanting to get a tattoo, dedicated to my mom for years, but it's not really the price. It's just, I want to make sure that where I go, that it's going to be a good tattoo and it's a good place to go for a tattoo. That's all. So anyway, so that is what I'm going to do. I thought I just wanted something simple because I seem to like make these resolutions and then I forget what the hell the resolutions are. And then I don't even know if I even accomplish them anyway. So, so I thought, okay, I would do something simple. I think my last year's resolution was to take a trip to, I don't know if it was foreign or what. I think it was Mexico or something. I don't know. But it was basically take a trip to a foreign land. And that didn't come to pass because of the COVID. And I did make plans to go to Mexico, but then I canceled. I found out that in the area I was going to go, there wasn't a high population of people being vaccinated. So I was kind of worried about that, concerned. So anyway, so I thought, okay, well, now I don't know what to expect because of this Omicron, and now they got another variant that came out of France. So anyway, so I think for now, that's kind of what happened. And so now, well, I don't really want to say what I'm going to be doing. I'm not sure. But I'm just, right now, I'm kind of pondering what I want to do this year. As I get older, I don't really want to travel as much. I noticed I did learn a lot, or I did learn a couple things with this last planning is that, well, I have a tendency to make things challenging when traveling. Like I'll use all kinds of sources of transportation. Like I was going to fly to the Midwest, and then I was going to fly to the Midwest to New York, and then I was, going to go to Philadelphia. So I learned in the end that it really wasn't financially. At the time, I didn't buy I think the airlines, they don't. I think you can make reservations until September, and then I don't know when they start it where you can make it to December. So anyway, so I was like, so I being not, I don't have, like, I'm limited on financial funding. So I was going to fly to the Midwest because it's cheaper. And then I was going to, then I thought that area, the area that I was going to go to, I've only like spent one night there and I really haven't spent much time in that area. So I thought, okay, well, a day or two or whatever, and then I would go off to New York. So, so I don't know. I just I learned that, I don't really need to make things that complicated. I should have just, dished out whatever money it was to go to New York or Boston or someplace that was close by, instead of just going, just kind of all over the place because I had to make, whatever, all these cancelizations and this and that. And then, so I don't know. I was I thought, okay, I went and I asked for prayer, for traveling, and then all this, then the roads was canceling, the road closure. So I don't know, maybe I wasn't supposed to go for whatever reason. I found out, of course, New York and this other place in the Midwest is skyrocketing for the Omicron variant, but where isn't, right? So, and I do have some underlying health conditions that would make me concerned, and I really do. I thought that you couldn't get the booster until 8 months, and then I found out it was 6, and now I don't know, but I wanted to I kind of want to get that done. Um, and so anyway, so that's kind of what happened or whatever. And so for the next year, um, I don't know exactly where I'm going to be traveling. I just realized that I'm not going to make it where it's as complicated. I have like doing that in the past, but it's probably not a good idea in my opinion. For me, around the New Year's, and then I thought, okay, well, I don't even know. I've tried for 3 years to get to New York, and for whatever reason, like for New Year's, it didn't pan out. I think the first year, I'm not for sure what happened. I think, and then the second year there was COVID. So, well, COVID is 3 years now, so I probably started around the COVID. Um, but I don't know. So it's like I don't even really know if I want to even go there for New Year's now because I've tried. I had all my hopes up high, and you know, um, so I don't even know if I even want to try to go there next year, um, because I just don't know what's going to happen with this COVID, and and so it's on my bucket list, but I just don't know anymore because it's one thing or another, and I thought, okay, well, this year I'm actually going to make it there, and then the flight came through, but the transportation was canceled. So I also learned that I need to like make transportation. That's kind of um, I don't know. I guess it's kind of rare. There was kind of a whatever, a state of emergency or something in the area, and so. But I think that I learned that I should, make reservations like a day or two prior to flying or whatever. And I think next year, because of all this, cancelizations or whatever, if I end up wherever I end up for New Year's, then I think that I should maybe have part of it as a train. I know that there was some issues with Amtrak, but not as much as a plane. And I thought, well, geez, I just feel sorry for these people that have, made these plans and they're kind of, they're canceled. Their flights are canceled. It's expensive for hotels or whatever by New Year's, and I just can't imagine their situation. But so anyway, so yeah, I think, okay, I think that it might be easier by Amtrak. I love taking trains. Actually, if I had to choose, the train is my preferred method of travel, just because I just love trains. I've always loved trains. When I was a kid, we used to, like, just right across the street was a train track, and I used to listen to it, like, and it was comforting for me. I don't know why. I just kind of like trains. And so I think that might be a better option. I think because I meant, I want to make sure wherever I go that I get there. I have been to Vegas for New Year's. And so that, like, New York and Las Vegas are the top places to go. But anyway, and I also learned that it's best to just kind of spend New Year's closer to home because, and it meant for me anyway, because, in the area that I'm living, just because, I wasn't expecting this stuff with the cancelizations at all. And then with the New Year's, they said it was going to be going on months ago. I don't, and for Times Square and this and that, but I meant, what can you do? The Omicron hit, so I think I learned that way that sometimes maybe it's a little more simpler to do something a little closer to home. Like maybe go and rent an Airbnb or I don't know, something relaxing. I don't know. I still want to get to Philadelphia. Um, Basically, like I said, because I have relatives that were born and raised there in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh area, and I've never been there. And so I've been wanting to explore the upper northeast for a long time. I did make it to Massachusetts 3 years ago, and I did make it to Maine. I've always wanted to go to Maine. I still want to go back there because I was there. Both of those, Boston and Portland, I was there for like an extended weekend. So that area I want to explore more, and I have been wanting to explore more. And I mean, I love the Southwest. I love the Pacific Northwest. Those are my favorite. Pacific Northwest is my favorite. It's like one of the most beautiful places that I've ever lived and visited. But doing my ancestry, I meant there's different parts like New Haven that I like to see, and just different areas that I want to explore because that's new territory for me. So anyway, that's kind of about it. I think that once I get traveling, I'm going to make sure I'm not going to make a video about, oh, I'm going to be traveling to here. I'm going to make a video once I'm traveling, because I've made a couple videos and New York didn't pan out, and then I had another video in which I was going to, go to like a small town or whatever. But then I was like, well, I didn't really want to do that because I thought, well, it'd be cheaper just to go to a bigger city, and spend more time there. But so anyway, so that's kind of what's going on for now. And so, yeah, so I also, well, New York isn't completely, set in stone if I go out there or not. I found a family relative who wanted to go like after I canceled everything. And I did have a family relative who went to Rochester this year. I mean, her and her husband like just drove around in New York. I mean, that's kind of what they do. They just kind of drive around and whatever, drove to New York. She didn't go to New York City. They didn't go, but they went to Albany, and I don't know if it was Albany or Rochester. I'm not sure. But anyway, so yeah, so I meant that's another option too. So I'm just going to have to see where I'm at. And then I think another thing that I've learned is that to make reservations for two different places, like I could have gone closer home here. And so I could have made reservations in case something happened. So I think that I'll do that next year, have like two, like a backup plan that's kind of closer to home. So I think I might do that. I always get like free cancellation. That's what I do. But I think that might be a good option if if I decide not to say closer to home, I think that's what I'll do. But I don't know. You never know with me. So anyway, yeah. So that I meant getting this tattoo is really important to me because I've been wanting to do it for a long time. And I did want my friend. I said, well, because we were close to my mom. We both were. He was kind of like a brother, kind of. And we kind of, he was a childhood friend, so he knew my mom really well. So I thought, well, maybe, getting matching tattoos. But I don't know if he's willing to do that. He said he was, but I don't know. So anyway, this is kind of about it for today. And I hope you had a good New Year's wherever you were. And I hope that, you are healthy and staying safe. And Happy New Year.